We want to have this really important discussion here. We've all seen the heartbreaking videos of what's happening in Ukraine. Many of us just feeling helpless. I mean, you're seeing innocent victims of a war. Ukrainian-born American author, clinical psychologist, Dr. Janina Scarlet is joining us to help with those feelings. Good morning to you, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's great to have you on. This is so important that we all kind of figure out how to deal with what we're seeing. Seeing those images are really painful. And you have friends and family in Ukraine right now. First of all, have you been able to talk to them, and what are they going through?
Thank you. Yes, I talk to them on a regular basis. They're scared. They don't know whether they were going to survive another day. They're holding strong to support their friends and family. One of them is a doctor, and he's stuck in a hospital supporting patients getting less than 2 hours of sleep.
Wow.
But people are very resilient, and they're doing everything they can to protect one another.
Oh, I mean, we've seen all the images of, the families in shelters. That really hits hard. I mean, subway stations turned into these bomb shelters with kids huddled up with their parents. I mean, I don't know how they're able to not just cry constantly. I mean, what are they, you mentioned they're strong. What are they thinking and saying to each other to keep going and try to stay resilient through all of that?
I think the best thing that people can do and have been doing is focusing on what they can do, and that's supporting one another and also sharing their stories, sharing information. So whenever you see a post on social media about what's going on in Ukraine, that's somebody sharing their experience because they want their voice to be heard, and that's people clinging on to life.
Yeah, I mean, you notice in some of the images in those dark shelters, people have their iPads and their phones connecting to people outside of Ukraine. How important is it to be able to do that?
Extremely. When people feel alone, they're more likely to give up trying. When people are able to have their voice heard and have people respond, have people share their messages or write back a compassionate response, it gives people the resilience that they need to keep going. It's a difference between life and death.
Yeah, and for many San Diegans too, I mean, we're all watching this unfold and it's tragic. Is there anything we can do to help?
Yes. The most important thing that you can do is don't look away. Don't be a bystander. I know the images are distressing, and this is real, and it's happening. And the best thing that you can do to help is to share this information and write back a compassionate response, to not be silent. And the more people's voices are heard, the more energetic they feel, the more resilient they become.
That's so important. I'm glad you mentioned that. And, doctor, you survived Chernobyl radiation, persecution, immigrating here to the U.S. at the age of 12. I can't imagine what that was like for you at such a young age. But I read in the notes that you were inspired by X-Men. Explain that.
Thank you. Well, when I was 16 years old, I saw the first X-Men movie, and it inspired me to see how people with such adversity were able to band together to help one another. And I realized that each and every one of us has some kind of a traumatic origin story that we don't talk about. But by banding together and supporting one another, there's nothing we can't do.
That's beautiful. That's so important because, right, we are one planet, all living here together. You've also helped people discover their own superpowers. That's a big part of your practice, which is here in San Diego. So I want to ask you, what can we do right now to find that power?
The biggest thing that we can do to find that power is to imagine what we would do as a superhero. And that would probably be to take some kind of an action, whether it's sharing people's messages, sharing people's stories who are actually there, urging NATO to protect the Ukrainian skies. It's taking action.
And you know what, doctor, I want to ask you too, since you were so young living in Ukraine, there's so many beautiful parts of that country and the people there, which we're all learning and seeing now. What are some of your fond memories of when you were there?
Honestly, it was going to the park in my hometown of Vinica and seeing the beautiful fountain there that is now one of the most famous fountains in the world, and just being in nature, being with people.
Yeah, and being with such wonderful people still. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of refugees. We already know about 500,000 Ukrainians who have tried to flee the country, needing help. What's important for us to remember right now for refugees? I mean, you got some of the assistance too when you came here.
Absolutely. And the most important thing is to remember that these are human beings. They might not understand your language right at the start, but they need compassion, they need support. So if you can find some patience to show somebody around, to show somebody some patience, some kindness, it makes all the difference in the world because this person is going through the biggest trauma of their life and they're just beginning to understand it.
Right, right. It definitely important to reach out. And I love what you said. Don't turn your back. These are important images that are hard to see, but we need to know they're happening so we can try to fix this. Doctor, thank you for being on. Where is your practice, by the way?
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm in San Diego. Most of my practice is virtual.
Okay. And you have a book out if you want to tell our viewers real quick.
Thank you. I have a book out called It Shouldn't Be This Way. It's about how do we manage such difficult tragedies, such as what's happening right now at times that things are unacceptable. How do we show up when things are hard?
Doctor, thank you very much for being on.
Thank you.